Hey guys, welcome to another 90-day recap chat. This time we are getting into 90 Day Fiance. Before the 90 days, all of the 90 Day fans, you guys know that it is about couples, one person from the US, the other from another country. We see the dynamic of the culture barriers, language boundaries, and all the messiness that can ensue from this type of dynamic. Again, this is the spin-off 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. Now let's start this ride with Annalyn and Javon. Their honeymoon was a bit rocky. They're the couple that I think have been married for 3 years but are just now seeing each other in person due to COVID and due to his financial issues. Once they leave the honeymoon site and go to her, her town, I'm not sure if that's what you call it, but her town within that country, everybody's eyeballing Javon, this tall black guy. I'm not sure if his full racial makeup. He appears to be biracial to me, but I don't know, again, his full racial background. But I believe that's... Now, correct me if I'm wrong for those people that actually know the stats here, but I believe Annalyn is from the Philippines. And so for a lot of Filipino people, there's a height differences and all of that stuff. And he's actually like a huge guy. I think he probably is a little tall for us here in America as well. So they get to the spot that he's been funding for, I think he said the last 5 years he's been sending her $600 a month. Which, I mean, that's not really tons of money. I mean, for her being able to do what she's doing with it, she's doing quite well. Pretty better than he was thinking at the time. He said, okay, let's see. It's colorful. It's big. It's a little bit more elaborate than he thought she was doing. He's surprised. She has the closet space. She has 2 floors. Like, she doesn't really need 2 floors. He's like, he thought it would be more modest. He said, I don't even have it this good where I live in the U.S. All he sees is money, basically. He tells us that, everything she's purchased, the trips that she has pictures of. He's thinking that maybe she needs to downgrade. But, they just got off their rocky honeymoon. I don't think it's the best time. Besides, surprise, mom arrives and they share a group hug. And everyone's emotional. Mom is loving him. She's wiping the sweat from his face, rubbing his chest. I'm thinking mom loves him more than Annalyn. I don't know. Annalyn is actually even surprised of how affectionate her mother is being on her man. But she says she knows that her mom does have some concerns. I don't know if he's planning on living there. But if he is planning on living there, he should see that she spent his money well. And if he lives there, they're going to have a comfortable lifestyle. So I actually don't see anything bad about what she's doing. And isn't that what you would want for your wife, for your spouse? To have a good, enjoyable life. And it's not that lavish or luxurious. It's just a little bit bigger and a little bit more than he thought that he was going to see. She's not like she's living like Kim Kardashian or something like that. It's not even to that level. But I'm glad she's able to make a lot out of a little bit of money. And that's probably one of the perks of living in another country. Stig, after the concert situation where he saw her getting on the phone during his concert, he kind of cut her off and had an attitude that whole evening. It's the next day. He's saying it's her last day, but I got a little confused because I thought there was going to be another day, unless there was an editing issue. Anyway, he's saying he wants to make the best of it, so they go to this beach-like water bar, and it looks like you're like standing in the water, like up to your, I don't know if it's up to your shoulders or up to your chest, but that doesn't seem like a fun place to stand there and have drinks to me. I'm not a water person anyway. And they start talking and trying to break down, okay, what's the texting issue? So she was like, I was just texting my friend because I was kind of nervous. I was by myself in this new country, and, it just kind of felt weird. And he's like, oh, I thought you was texting another guy or whatever. And she's like, oh, is that what you were thinking? And she thinks to herself, he sounds like he's projecting because maybe that's something that he would do And she's like, I'm the one that should be jealous. You're the one that's dancing over girls on the stage. I'm the one that should be jealous. They both have trust issues that they need to get over. And that's kind of what they figure out. He then says maybe we're moving too fast. Maybe you're pregnant because we haven't been using protection. Well, it's a little late for you to talk about that and pumping the brakes, so to speak. And she's still thinking she's going to get this engagement. Now they're meeting her aunt, Aunt Spring. We met her at the beginning of the season. And she was married to a man from Belize, also where Stig is from. And he was somewhat, I guess, a womanizer and a cheater. And she just maybe projecting also on Stig that he might also be that same guy. He says, but you know what? I'll charm the auntie and he'll get out of the situation. He'll get out of anything because he's so charming. He said, hey, I may even marry your auntie. And, I don't think she likes him saying that, but he's showing how cocky he is and how he thinks he can escape anything. So she's like, where's my proposal though? And he's just like, let's slow down, laying on her, falling asleep on her. She's rubbing his head and she's thinking like, I probably should have slept with you all those times unprotected because right now you're playing games with me. And that's kind of what people do, right? You don't want to give everything up because a promise of marriage, a promise of a proposal. And we have another young lady that's, dying over having this proposal situation. But you have to have the good man to do the proposal. I'm sorry. You guys don't know these men well enough, especially in person, to give all of yourself to them in multiple ways. So why do you want a proposal from a guy that's all, I'll say, verbiage and basically all talk? You don't really know them. So they go to Aunt Spring's niece's place. I think it's like a bar, and her name is Corinth. So he gives Aunt Spring a compliment. He's saying, she said, is this serious for you? He's like, yeah, it's pretty serious. So she's like, are you sure you're not running through him? He's like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm serious. I want to get to know and be with Aviva. So they have their little chit chat. Things seem to be going okay. And Auntie don't play. She pulled out all the cards and all the questions right in his face. She don't play about her niece. So she says, I don't want to really do this in front of Aviva. So let me take you to the side. And she's going to do the real interrogation here. And it looks like she has some picture receipts. And we'll see exactly what she has next time. So I love Auntie Spring. I'm glad that she learned her lesson. And she was with the guy for 20 years, got divorced in the last 2 years. That was a hard lesson to learn. And I don't think she wants her niece to learn that. And I think that's how we can pay it forward to our next generation, is to help them out with these type of scenarios. They can make their own choices at the end of the day. And they may even be foolish choices, but Aunt Sprig is not playing about her people. So I respect that. And I want to see what Mr. Stig has been up to or down to. All right, let's get with Emma and Zaid. They went to the desert trip for her birthday. She's taking like 3 or 4 bags for one day. And I'm like, why are you taking so many bags? This is it might be 1 or maybe 2 days, right? It looks like she took everything she owned with her. And maybe she's worried something's going to happen to her stuff. I don't know. But they both seem happy. She told us the other day that they slept together. But Zaid is not, saying anything about that. He's keeping that hush. But he's also happy too. He'll say that part. But he's not saying why. He's just saying he's following his heart and that they in love. She says their overnight thing they did, their overnighter bonded them. So when they get to the desert, it looks like a movie. It looks beautiful, but it looks like beautiful nothingness that God made. Many people would fear being lost in the desert back in the day. But now people are going there for the attraction, the look of it all, and she wants to go ride the camels. So they go to their area, and their area is like, looks like they're glamping, like they're on a glamping trip, which is like glorified camping. And the tents are very nice. You have all your amenities in there. It looks great. And he's like, this is your tent. I got the other tent over there. So she's a little upset that they're not going to share the same tent on her birthday. They're going through the desert and walking through, and she showed him the heels what she was going to wear. She had some chunky heels, and he's like, I don't think you should be wearing that in the desert. It's not going to be easy to walk in. And she found out that he was right. And to me, she's looking like Jasmine from Aladdin and getting on that camel. She has the hair and everything looking like she's from Aladdin. And they show the camel ascent, and it looks epic. It gives me Dune vibes for those Dune fans. Will he propose is the question of the day. His tent is lower than hers. Hers is a little bit up the hill. And she's like, well, I'm glad your tent is down there so you can protect me if any murderers come out or any snipers. I mean, you'll get the first brunt. I know it was a joke. He giggled it off. It looks really cold and windy in the desert. I didn't realize how the desert was cold. I heard that in Vegas it could get too cold. That's a desert area. Never been, though. Their birthday meal is the tangine chicken. She's been eating this the whole trip. She's like, this is all she knows. She knows they have other food here, but this is all that Zaid keeps serving her. She's not complaining, but he's not eating. And he says some surprises are ahead, and she's like, oh, he's gonna propose. I mean, I could see that a guy being so nervous he won't even eat anything because he has to pop that question or wants to pop that question. And he's like freezing, sitting there looking upset, and she's like, you know what? You can have my sweater. Now, isn't that what the guy's supposed to do? Give the sweater? But I'm sure that she's used to where she lives as the climate changes, but he's probably not used to so much being cold in the area that he lives in. So she gives him her sweater, and then the surprise comes through, and it's a nice birthday cake. So she's hoping and expecting this proposal that's not happening. And he basically says she's still hiding things, so he's not going to propose to her yet. She's confused. But the next day, they kind of have a tea time. And he was like, I'm sorry about last night. I was cold, so I wasn't happy because I was like freezing my buns off. And she's like, well, where's my proposal? He's like, we're not ready. I'm not ready. And I don't know everything about you. He said something like there's lies inside of you. And he's suspicious. So she said at this point, she may not get her engagement. So she has to come clean about her ex. Her ex is also a Moroccan and Muslim. I think his name is Muhammad. And she was engaged to him. And Zaid has no idea about this. He kind of brings back up the fact when she ghosted him what was going on, and she did admit that she was rekindling with her ex, but she has yet to tell him that she has been and was engaged to this guy. So we're going to see what happens with that story. So Forrest is talking to his moms after the family had their night is to talk together with Sheena's family. Excuse me, guys. And she basically, Forrest was happy. He said last night was great. All of Sheena's lies were revealed all at once. So we cleared the air completely about her and her parents. And the mom says, you're actually excited about all the lies? She's like, I'm horrified. How can you still trust her? And he said he does because she says that she'll change. Sheena then apologized to her dad and says that she misspoke about the money situation so she could keep Forrest around. And her dad lets her know, well, okay, but I'm going to tell you this. Be honest that it's a part of your culture to help your family out. So this is a normal thing for you. And she kind of feels stuck in the middle of this whole scenario. He still feels that she's the one. So Forrest still thinks she's the one and wants to propose, and Mom is questioning this. What should he do? They head to this sanctuary of love spa, and they have a nice bath in a boiling pot with fresh herbs and sunflowers. It looks like they're being boiled in a cauldron, but Mom loves it. She says it feels amazing. She said, boil me up. It's medicines in the water. They're loving this new and different experience. Molly, they're on their way off, but Molly, this is their last day. They're going to be going back to the main area of the city where they've been staying and leaving her home. But, Molly says she still believes there's something more to this story. And as they're leaving, it becomes this big thunderstorm, and which excites the family, the newcomers, the people from America. I'll say they're the foreigners in this country. They're excited by this thunderstorm that's going on, but this thunderstorm coincides with the fact that they're saying goodbye, but Dad is presenting this information, and he's saying that, I'm not sure if he said it's a part of their culture for her to help, but he's saying financially with them having this account together, which he's trying to explain, Forrest is trying to explain, it's for the visa process, because we need to have so much money in this account to prove so she could come to the U.S., But he's saying, well, you guys aren't even married, so you really shouldn't share an account, and you really shouldn't have access to my daughter's money. And Molly thinks that's bad. She thinks that he's too controlling. And I think Dad does have a lot of control. While Forrest is still unsure if he should wait to propose or to propose to her soon. But, at first I'm like, Daddy is controlling, and I agree. But he does have points. Once you get married, yeah, that's when you share an account. Maybe she can have the account and he doesn't have access, but he can just at least see that the money is there so that they can go on the visa process. Now, she said, well, I'll just send you screen grabs because you're not going to have access to my account. But you can send any kind of screen grab if you want. You can alter it. You can take the money out afterward. I mean, the screen grab is not accurate up to the minute. And if they do go through with that visa process, they're going to need to have the actual funds in the actual bank. So that's the biggest issue. But Dad, in a way, Sheena's not really lying. She does feel the obligation to help her family. Maybe her father isn't being as forceful or mean to her, but he is kind of pushing like this is what you're supposed to do without probably beating her over the head. But he is doing what he's doing. And who knows what Mom is doing? She's not even around. I feel that she might be ill. We didn't see her the whole trip. We seen her dad. We saw her sister. So in a way, Sheena has not been lying about this money scenario. It's just not as harsh as maybe she has been putting out there. And Molly, the mom, she senses that something else is up. So she has two men. Sheena's making this money. She must be making a lot of money because she has her dad and her man both in her account, both in her money, and she can't even have control over her own funds. That don't seem right. All right, so the trip with Burkhan and Laura, the castle trip took a turn as we see that Burkhan confessed that he's a gambler and he's an avid gambler. He's not stopping. And in the meantime, Laura reveals she was left for another woman and her money was stolen from her first husband. So she has trust issues and gambling doesn't sound good to her. Birkin says they're destined to be together, but don't try to control me. Don't try to change me. This will make our relationship worse. And she's like, well, I have to protect myself. He does say, I do care about you, so I will try to stop the gambling. So he's trying to calm and ease her mind, but I don't think it's going to be that easy for him to stop. He seems to be making bukus of money, and he's going to even surprise her even more with his gambling money as they take this boat trip. And she feels like, oh, I can't stay mad at Burkhan. He's now taking her on an expensive boat. I'll probably say a yacht. And he reveals, yeah, the gambling money paid for this. He says, I'm a good gambler, baby. Go with the flow. He thanks her for being with him and lets us know that his previous girlfriend broke up with him over text while he was injured. No family or friends or loved ones didn't come to support him at that time. He didn't want people. I guess he didn't trust people, and it makes sense. And he says, because of you, I wanted to live again. I love you. And he trusts her. So that was a very beautiful moment. Bert kind of does it again. He did another moment after she revealed that she needed to have, I think, the fatty tissue removed from her body. And it wasn't a flattering look, and she did not want to allow him to see that, but he still showed her love. And now again, even though he's got this gambling thing going on, he's showing her that how much she means to him, that he really loves her, and this is not just a put on. He's not trying to just play her, that this comes from a real place. So I don't know how to feel about these two. It's a lot of back and forth, and it's red flags on, for the most part, Bert Kahn's side. But we'll see how it goes. It seems like he's genuine, but you never really know with people, right? You can have genuine people that really love you, but they can still be messed up and have issues, and you still can't work with that. You can love them from afar, but you can't say, hey, marry me, get the K-1 visa, and come to the U.S. with me and stake your whole life upon me for the next 10 years, and hopefully it works out. You might not be able to say that. Finally, Daniel and Lisa. So they never talked about their issues. When they met up with Daniel's friends, she said the issue with the other woman, and he lied to the friends about the other woman. So they're kind of in limbo right now. She's angry. Now they're chatting by the pool. And she's like, tell me about this other white American woman who said, you need to be careful, because he's talking to other white U.S. girls. So he's like, keeps telling her to prove it. She's showing him pictures. He's like, nope. Don't know this. Don't see this. Don't get this. Have no familiarity with any of this, right? She goes through the phone, shows him all those pictures. Again, it's nothing. Like, she says it's bull. And he says it's a setup. Somebody's trying to set him up. So she storms off. She's frustrated with his answers. And she says, is this guy a narcissist? She says, okay, I do have my secrets. I know I messed up. But his secrets are in the present. He might be having some secrets right now. Mine are in the past. I'm no longer doing those things, but his are present right now. Does he just want me for the green card? So she starts to have this text exchange with the other woman. And the lady saying, he's lying right to your face. And he comes in to console her. And, she shows him another picture. I guess it's a new picture he hasn't seen. So he finally confesses, the other pictures were different. Now I can see that I do know this person. But it was a long time ago. Once I started talking to you, you took over my mind, you took over my space, and I just let that person go. They kind of kiss and make up. She says, I still don't trust him. But she says, hopefully he will forgive her when she comes clean with her issues or what she's been doing or has hidden. I'm not sure why people insist on building things on a lie and thinking that everything's gonna work out when it's not gonna. You need to come honestly up front, because if you're gonna build on a lie and live a lie, you're in love with the lie. You may not even be in love with that person, and when you find out the real information and the real details, might not be so much in love anymore. Alright guys, so that's the end of our 90-day recap chat. Before the 90 days, we'll talk more faith, love, and trends right here on CBiz Media. What are your thoughts, comments, questions? Drop them below. Again, you can email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. Check us out on our other platforms at cbiztvmedia.com. And we will talk with you guys again later. All the best. This is Irene. God bless.